Days after Malacanang threatened to ban United States Senators Patrick Leahy and Dick Durbin from the Philippines, an aide of Leahy says it will be hard for US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo not to implement a US law barring from the United States Philippine government officials linked to the so-called illegal detention of opposition Senator Leila De Lima. Leahy's foreign policy aide Tim Reeser tells CNN Philippines a State Department report has noted significant concern about how De Lima is treated by the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte.
You have the United Nations, you have multiple human rights organizations which are widely recognized as credible, concluding that Senator De Lima is being detained for political reasons.
Reeser also says Pompeo can implement on the ban on Philippine officials anytime. Those affected may find out when they apply for a U.S. visa.
You can be denied eligibility to enter this country even if you have not applied to enter. So it could be the result of you apply and discover that you are on such a list, or that you are included in such a list even if you have never applied to enter this country.
The 2020 U.S. budget bill signed by U.S. President Donald Trump does not explicitly mention the ban, but a U.S. Senate report attached to the law says De Lima's case was adopted in the final version signed into law. Reeser says the prohibition on these officials may be enforced as long as De Lima is in detention. He cites two scenarios that may enable lifting of the ban.
Either they should release her, or they should produce the evidence in a way that meets international standards of fairness and due process.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara insists De Lima's indictment was upheld by the Philippine Supreme Court and she is freely exercising her rights in a fair and public trial. He adds that the controversial senator can only be released if she is acquitted. No pressure from foreign politicians can change that. He invited the legal staff of Senators Leahy and Durbin to come to the Philippines to go over records and transcripts of the cases against De Lima. But Reeser says the Philippine government should show evidence that De Lima is guilty of the drug charges.
If the government has that evidence, let's see it. Otherwise, simply proclaiming that she's being treated to due process is an empty statement.
While there are no names submitted yet, Reeser says those who will be covered by the ban cannot challenge it, as the function is not a judicial process, but an administrative matter by a U.S. federal government agency. Once the policy is implemented, those barred entry has only one option to enter the United States, and that's to have official business in the United Nations in New York City. Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines.